So if you dig really deep into the heart of modern physics, you find this profound contradiction, almost like a tragic flaw in how we see reality. And it's all centered on the one thing we feel most intimately, but understand the least: time. And honestly, this paradox, it forces us to question just about everything. Here's the core of the problem. On one hand, you've got Einstein. His theory of relativity tells us time is woven right into the fabric of the universe, this four-dimensional space-time. It's real, it's physical, it can even be bent and warped by gravity. But then, on the other hand, you have quantum mechanics, which seems to whisper something way, way more bizarre. When you look at equations trying to unify these two fields, like the Wheeler-DeWitt equation, something weird happens. The variable for time, it just disappears. It vanishes, which suggests that our whole experience of time flowing forward is just an illusion, something that emerges from the behavior of countless tiny particles. And here's the kicker. Both of these views can't be right. It's one or the other.
Okay, to really get a grip on this tragedy, we first have to look at the one law that seems to give time its purpose, its forward momentum. You can almost think of it like a prophecy, a decree of fate for the entire universe.
We all know it as the arrow of time, right? It's the reason you remember what you had for breakfast, but not what you're going to have for dinner tomorrow. Now, this isn't just in our heads. It's a direct consequence of the second law of thermodynamics. It states that the universe, as a whole, is always moving from a state of low entropy to high entropy, from order to disorder. That progression, that is our physical definition of time moving forward.
Think about it like this. You put a single drop of dye into a glass of water. It starts out as this neat, ordered little system, but over time, it diffuses, right? It spreads out until it's completely mixed in, a state of maximum disorder, maximum entropy. You would never, ever expect to see the reverse happen on its own, for all that dye to just gather itself back into a perfect little drop. This irreversible march toward disorder is the very engine that drives time's arrow.
So what if we tried to defy that prophecy? Like a character in some old Greek tragedy, what if we attempted to break this fundamental law? Well, that's the hubris at the center of our story, the theoretical attempt to actually reverse the arrow of time. The theoretical tool we need for this little act of defiance is a hypothetical particle called the tachyon. Now, from relativity, we all know that as you get closer to the speed of light, time slows down for you, right? Time dilation. At the speed of light, time basically stops. Well, the equations then hint at this wild possibility. What if you could punch through that barrier? What if you could go faster? Well, the math suggests time itself would start to run backwards.
So, it all boils down to this one simple, elegant, and, let's be honest, seemingly impossible idea: velocity greater than the speed of light. If something, anything, could achieve this, it could theoretically move backward through time, or, at the very least, send a message into its own path.
And this is where our little tragedy reaches its climax. This is where the attempt to defy fate and change the past runs smack into a logical brick wall. We call it the inevitability paradox.
Let's just play this out. Imagine you're watching a friend walk down the street and you see them slip on a banana peel, but you have a tachyon transmitter. So you quickly send a text message just a few seconds into the past, warning them. Okay, so now let's jump back. Your friend is walking along a moment before the fall. Their phone buzzes. It's a message from the future. Naturally, they're curious. They stop what they're doing to read it. And in that exact moment, as they're looking down at their phone, reading your very helpful warning about the banana peel up ahead, well, their attention is obviously not on where they're walking. And they step right on the banana peel and fall. You see what happened? The very act of sending the warning is what caused the event you were trying to prevent. The timeline has created this perfectly closed, self-consistent loop. Your attempt to defy fate became the very instrument of that fate. And this isn't just some clever little thought experiment, you know? This idea of a consistent causal loop, it echoes everywhere, from fiction to actual theory. In H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, the hero keeps trying to save his love from dying, but no matter what he changes, fate finds another way for her to die. This gets at something called the Novikov self-consistency principle, which basically says that any event that could create a paradox simply won't happen. The universe will conspire to make sure everything stays consistent. So, where does all this leave us? Well, not with a neat answer, that's for sure. But maybe with a deeper, more profound sense of the truly tragic nature of time itself. We're right back where we started, but now the questions feel sharper, don't they? The stakes are so much higher. If Einstein's right and space-time is a real thing,
Do these causal loops mean the past is a fixed landscape we can never actually change? Are we just doomed to repeat a story that's already been written? But if the quantum folks are right and time is just an emergent illusion, what does that mean for our lives? Is our entire struggle against fate, our sense of cause and effect, just a meaningless play of shadows?
And really, that's the question at the very core of this paradox. What would be the greater tragedy? To find out that we're all just characters trapped in an immutable story that's already written? Or to discover that the very stage we're on, this flow of time that gives our lives meaning, isn't even real to begin with? For now, the universe isn't telling.